Today I'm going to be reading The Land I Lost, Adventures of a Boy in Vietnam by Huynh, Quang, Nhuong with pictures by Vo-Dinh. I just want to show the beautiful cover before I get started. I bought this library edition specifically for the artwork, and we're going to get to meet all these incredible animals and characters. Okay, let's get started with the preface. The Land I Lost. I was born on the central highlands of Vietnam in a small hamlet on a riverbank that had a deep jungle on one side and a chain of high mountains on the other. Across the river, rice fields stretched to the slopes of another chain of mountains. There were 50 houses in our hamlet, scattered along the river or propped against the mountainsides. The houses were made of bamboo and covered with coconut leaves, and each was surrounded by a deep trench to protect it from wild animals or thieves. The only way to enter a house was to walk across a monkey bridge, a single bamboo stick that spanned the trench. At night, we pulled the bridges into our houses and were safe. And there's a really pretty picture of the hamlet that I'd like to show right there. You can get an idea. Continuing on. There were no shops or marketplaces in our hamlet. If we needed supplies, medicine, cloth, soaps, or candles, we had to cross over the mountains and travel to a town nearby. We used the river mainly for traveling to distant hamlets, but it also provided us with plenty of fish. During the 6-month rainy season, nearly all of us helped plant and cultivate fields of rice, sweet potatoes, Indian mustard, eggplant, tomatoes, hot peppers, and corn. But during the dry season, we became hunters and turned to the jungle. Wild animals played a very large part in our lives. There were 4 animals we feared the most: the tiger, the lone wild hog, the crocodile, and the horse snake. Tigers were always trying to steal cattle. Sometimes, however, when a tiger became old and slow, it became a man-eater. But a lone wild hog was even more dangerous than a tiger. It attacked every creature in sight, even when it had no need for food. Or it did crazy things, such as charging into the hamlet in broad daylight, ready to kill or to be killed. The river had different dangers: crocodiles. But of all the animals, the most hated and feared was the huge horse snake. It was sneaky and attacked people and cattle just for the joy of killing. It would either crush its victim to death or poison it with a bite. Like all farmers' children in the hamlet, I started working at the age of 6. My 7 sisters helped by working in the kitchen, weeding the garden, gathering eggs, or taking water to the cattle. I looked after the family herd of water buffaloes. Someone always had to be with the herd, because no matter how carefully a water buffalo was trained, it always was ready to nibble young rice plants when no one was looking. Sometimes, too, I fished for the family while I guarded the herd, for there were plenty of fish in the flooded rice fields during the rainy season. I was 12 years old when I made my first trip to the jungle with my father. I learned how to track game, how to recognize useful roots, how to distinguish edible mushrooms from poisonous ones. I learned that if birds, raccoons, squirrels, or monkeys had eaten the fruits of certain trees, then those fruits were not poisonous. Often they were not delicious, but they could calm a man's hunger and thirst. My father, like most of the villagers, was a farmer and a hunter, depending upon the season. But he also had a college education, so in the evenings he helped to teach other children in our hamlet, for it was too small to afford a professional school teacher. My mother managed the house, but during the harvest season she could be found in the fields, helping my father get the crops home. And as the wife of a hunter, she knew how to dress and nurse a wound, and took good care of her husband and his hunting dogs. I went to the lowlands to study for a while because I wanted to follow my father as a teacher when I grew up. I always planned to return to my hamlet to live the rest of my life there. But war disrupted my dreams. The land I love was lost to me forever. These stories are my memories. HQN.